Hello. Good afternoon. How relaxed everyone looks. How's everyone? Good to see you again. How has it been?
Amazing. So good. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Tell me a little bit. How's it been? What it's like now? Any discoveries? Any questions? How's it been?
Very good. We were exploring a lot during these 2 last days. And well, it's wonderful. We are so confused now.
Awesome. If it's okay, can you be in front of the camera so I can also read lips so it's clear for me? Hey, thank you.
So yeah, and after your conference yesterday as well, it's like the end of the day was absolutely amazing by confusing at the same time. So, and yes, this morning we started with Mahima with a lot of questions and talking about a little bit of everything, but wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, I know it can be confusing, but yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Thanks.
How about the rest? A lot of questions in the morning and no questions now.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I have a question that I supposed to do it yesterday, but I didn't. So when we born, do we know who we are already? We know our true self since we born.
Tricky question, like I said yesterday. It's tricky question, tricky answer. So let me address it this way. Is there a moment that you are aware that you are born? Is there a moment that you are aware that you are actually born?
I don't know.
I don't remember really.
So you are not aware that you are actually born.
Yeah.
And that no one can relate, no one can actually pinpoint a moment when they say, I'm actually born. Why is that? How come no one can actually say, I am born, I was born, I know that I was born, I remember, I'm conscious about it?
Because you're not conscious?
Yeah, why nobody's conscious about being born?
Because it's the self? Because it's the being, you know, itself with no conscious and no nothing.
Well, which being are we talking about? And that's, like I said, it's a tricky answer. As I said before, if you start to answering from different levels of understanding, there's a moment that an answer might be good for the moment, but then it changes the moment that you keep on growing and dissolving, let's say. So I'm going to give you 2 perspectives. The quality of consciousness when you realize that you are, let's say, because it's related to the question that you're asking. If when we are babies, we know who we are. That knowing who we are means you're conscious that you know who you are. So in consciousness has to be infused or has to apply to that knowingness. So because there's a doubt that there's no clarity around it, there's this doubt that, did I know who I was when I was a baby, let's say? The quality of consciousness of being someone rises different for everyone. It's not the same for everyone. The quality of the recognition that you are here now in this body type experience rises for everyone in different times. It's not like everyone is like this. No, it's different from everyone. But that doesn't mean anything, really. Honestly, it doesn't mean anything, because the quality of consciousness of each and one of us also depends on the circumstances, the clarity of it, the maturity of it. It also sometimes the quality of consciousness can diminish depending of what you eat. So consciousness has different qualities in order to be clear, you know, that quality of knowingness. So from that perspective, the quality of knowing who you think you are can rise at any time. That doesn't mean who you truly are, which is different. And I have to make the distinction. Because who you truly are has never forgotten, neither has never remembered. It doesn't need consciousness to know itself. It doesn't need to know itself that it knows it is. That's just still mind, conscious, individuality games. Your true self, your true self doesn't need consciousness at all. It doesn't have any limitations. That's who you are. Consciousness is what you think you are. Like I said yesterday, the me thought, the I thought, the ego, where the true illusion begins is the idea that you know you are. So it's like, what about those moments that you don't know that you are? There's a lack. Like I said, there's a lack. So that cannot be you, because you are beyond any duality perception, either good, right or wrong, conscious, unconscious. You are beyond all of those things. Both these things are appearing in front of you. So like I said, the question that you asked, and probably I forgot to answer yesterday, is coming from a place that thinks that you are this body type person that was born in this type womb, motherhood quality, and is born in this sensorial experience that I can actually compare with everything else that defines. Then I can define myself as this in consequence or the opposite of what I see. Then I can know who I am. And none of those are you. And because I'm saying this, and this is important thing to know, because you are not the body type person individuality, and the questions from that place will only lead to more answers regarding that individuality. So that's what I am addressing the next question. How come no one knows that actually they are born? That's just a concept, an idea. They don't really know they were born. They were never there. They are not experiencing fullness, clarity around that area that you can actually say, oh, I'm experiencing being born. No one has that experience, because in the deepest part of themselves, their self has never been born, ever. That's why no one can say I was born, because your true self has never been born, ever. So that's the tricky thing. You have never been born, which means you will never die. And that is the truth. That is the truth. But because of the identification with consciousness and the body sensations, and I am this physical being, then all the questions, perception, analysis, comparisons are related to this individual being that you think you are. You are not that individual being that you think you are. Neither you are because there's another concept these years or this period of time that, yeah, we're divine beings in a human body. That is wrong. That is not true at all. But that's the only way the mind can actually conceptualize, put into terms, a reality that it cannot grasp. So the mind is really tricky. It has to come up with concepts, ideas to keep the boat steady inside. So if you go deeper into the root of the illusion, everything crumbles, and it can be scary for some people. Not for everyone, but it can be challenging experience for some, when everything that you have been standing on is removed, and then the abyss of the emptiness is gonna swallow you up. And not many people. Sometimes fear can rise, because the identification that I'm me, this me thought, body, baby, human, adulthood, or whatever, that's who I am, then all that I read, and everything that I can relate to is regarding this body type experience, because I cannot relate to anything else. That's how strong the identification with the body persona is. I am this person, this body, and this body is wrapped up with thoughts, feelings, and things like that, and that's who I am. So the experience of the body defines me. So in a sense, you don't really know who you really are from that perspective. If you identify and you speak from body consciousness, you don't really know who you are. There's going to be a point that you think you know you are the body and you are this person, but that's not who you really are. Let's say that, for example, at 4 years old, let's say, I'm just throwing a number. At 4 years old, you recognize that you are this little body walking on earth. That doesn't mean who you really are. That's just a vehicle for the expression of your true self. That doesn't mean who you are. And that's where people get confused, because they try to relate everything regarding when I became aware of who I was. Well, that's still what you think you are, is not your true self. So making that little difference, then we get to the core of the truth. Like I said, in the purest sense, your true self has never been born, ever, and has always known itself to be the self. It has never lost or diminished that quality of, let's say, self-knowingness. So from that perspective, you have never forgotten who you are, really. You have always known, even before you were physically born. Regarding your question, before physically being born, you have always been that, without qualities, without attributes, without identification with anything. So if you're asking from baby perspective, of course you don't know who you are, because you are asking from baby perspective. But if you are asking from the root of your being, you know that you are not the body, neither the baby body. You are that which is behind witnessing the baby body expression. And that's who you really are. That's why many people get so confused and they cannot really put into terms everything, because the labyrinth of the mind with concepts and interpretations and everything, they're just saying things that they don't really know anything about. Either they read it somewhere, somebody told them about it, and the people that told them about it, they don't know anything about it. They're just conceptualizing, imagining, and trying to justify something that they cannot put their finger on, or they cannot really grasp, because truth is beyond the mind's comprehension. Like I said, it's tricky. Some answers, I'll give you another example just to finish this question, and then we can see what's next. Imagine that we all are going just in a retreat, but we are in the desert and we're gonna go for a walk. Suddenly, a few of you might see water, the mirage of the water in the desert, and you think that's water because you are thirsty. You're imagining that water is true, is real, and you're thirsty. From your perspective, in that moment, it's true. I won't deny that in that moment, your perception, your feelings, your reaction, your understanding is telling you that in that moment, the mirage of the water is true. And I acknowledge it. It's true. But that doesn't mean it's really true. That doesn't mean that's the absolute truth. That doesn't mean there's not a higher truth. I will recommend don't drink the water. Because from another perspective, let's say a few steps to the right, the light of the sun and the environment changes, and then I can see there's no water, but you don't see it because you're still, let's say, you're just there watching for the first time in that moment the water, because there's cravings, desires, or the body needs that are projecting that knowledge outward, and that you're interpreting it that it is what you think it is, even though what that you think it is not. That's how powerful the mind and the imagination and everything around it is so powerful. Because in that moment, a lot of things are presented. One, concepts, ideas, colors, feelings, even your mouth can begin to get drier and then craving for water, everything at once. The concept of water, the name of the water, everything at once. And then you say, it's real. And I say, well, give it a try. And then because you give it a try, you'll start to eat sand, and then you'll come into senses, and it's like, whoa, that was really powerful. There was never been water ever. So from, like, many people ask questions from the mirage, which is nothing wrong, because they're trying to understand what is really going on in their understanding, their inner feelings, their intuition. Like I said, it's a beautiful labyrinth of self-discovery. But nonetheless, not because one believes there's water, that doesn't mean there's water. And that's, like I said, when you identify with the body-mind individuality, that creates an illusion so powerful that makes you believe everything is real, when at the end of the day, it is not. It's fascinating. But like I said, in that moment, you might think you are that. And that's okay. I'm just saying, don't get stuck there. Don't just defend or justify everything that you have learned, heard for a long time. It was, yeah, it had to happen. That's the experience, but that doesn't mean there's something else that you can keep on exploring and discovering. And like I said yesterday, the more you climb up the mountain, let's say, the perspective change, the understanding change. And my intention is to take you to the deepest part of yourself, your true self. Then you'll be happy, really happy. You'll be free. You'll be fearless about everything. It's different. So I'm not, like I said, this game is more profound than the qualities of consciousness bring about, because it has nothing to do about being aware of who you are. It's about dropping everything that still is sustained by individual perception, and then everything becomes clear. So like I said, some answers are true. Like I said, yeah, of course, when you are a baby, from the perspective of the baby, you don't know who you are. But from the perspective of the absolute, you have always known who you are. And that is true. You have always known. There's no way that knowledge can actually be touched by ignorance at all. No, nothing. It's impossible. There's going to be a moment that's going to be so clear that you're going to be like, wow, I've always known. I've always known. And you laugh. In the middle of the mist of not knowing, you know. That's fascinating, because you are beyond all of those things. So like I said yesterday, sometimes the answers are true from the perspective or from the place they are being asked, but there's a deeper answer, a deeper experience that's the one we are exploring. That's the aim, because that's the only thing that will actually make you whole. The rest, honestly, it can be confusing. People have different experiences. Consciousness game is so infinite that many perspectives can collapse against each other. But there's only one place where everything comes into place and everyone agrees about, which absolute silence and nothingness. And that's the game we're entering. And I understand that things can be confusing, which is great, awesome, because then you start to understand, where are all these places that my mind has decided this is clear, this is the way, I get it, I understand, it's about this, it's about that. And of course, when you start to present something that is purer and beyond mind understanding, it's places where the mind has put the grasp on you by its tricks, then they're gonna start to be shaken. Or finally you're gonna, because of this, finally you're gonna start to see clearly in front of you the little subtleties of the game. And that is a fascinating game. That's the beauty of this. So you see clearly and understand the tricks of duality, of the illusion, and that you don't fall for them. And then you're good to go. Great questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yesterday you say something about, if I'm not wrong, about paying attention and create. It's just about, I was thinking about when we are creating and when it's just happening, you know? Because maybe in the spiritual thoughts, it's just you are your own creator, you know? And what I was thinking is, if we are creating when we put the attention that is creating by our mind, and when it's just happening is when we are really the witness and just being, you know.
You're always the witness. You have always been the witness. Always. But the ego mind takes ownership of what is being witnessed by the witness. That's the tricky one. For example, creativity, let's say, everything, if you pay attention to it, it unfolds by itself. But the mind takes its ownership. I'm creative. I'm a musician. I'm a painter. It's my gift. How can I improve it? How can I make it forward? How can I express it fully? The mind has take ownership of everything that is happening. And at the same time, everything is happening. The problem is when the mind takes ownership, the ego takes ownership, then it's a blockage, our confusion realm, anxiety realm, control. I gotta gain it for myself. I gotta manifest my world the way I want it. If you really recognize that just is a mind game, because like I said, you are always been the witness of the game. You have always been the witness of, you are always the witness of the game. The thing is, like, the moment you recognize that what you're watching is a game and you are not inside the game, then something miraculous happens. Life, which has always been in charge of everything, takes another shape of, how to say it, of glow, starts to shine differently in front of you. The same thing, but different, as life, the whole life, everything at once, an expression of everything through you regarding creativity. Is life itself expressing everything through you. You are still the witness of it all. And there's no one there to acknowledge, neither to own nothing that is happening. Because that's what the mind does. Okay, I know I have creativity. What can I do to make my life better? So of course, control there is, luck is there, the individual is there, because there's a lot of judgments around life, body, work, everything, because mind is participating in the game. And from that perspective, which is a limited perspective, will be confusing. Will be, because it is a never-ending game. It's a never-ending game. when the mind is involved, it doesn't matter where it is. It's meant to suffer. There's no other way around. Mind is suffering, separation, loneliness. But of course, there's moments of pleasure and beauty. That's all mind too. Is jumping back and forward between the polarities. If you live in one polarity, there's gonna be a moment when you live in the other one. That's the way it is. So like I said, and talking about today, my wish for you is to be so free, so free, so free that you that you live life, do what is meant to do, and don't get involved. And your life will become beautiful. The mind wants to take ownership and have a curriculum vitae so they can show to the world, I'm a painter, I'm an architect, I'm this, I'm that, recognize me, I have value, I have gifts. Not really. You don't have anything. Everything was given to you. And really, you're honest, everything that was given to you is not yours. It was given to you. Even the quality, let's say, to breathe today is given to you. It's a gift. Who gave the gift? But the mind is, no, it's me. I created. I have the power. Not really. You have no power. Power goes through your veins. That's true. Clear understanding goes through your mind understanding channel. That's true. Life, vitality, energy goes through you. It's true. But none of it is yours. Everything is given. But the mind doesn't agree, of course, because sometimes the mind has created a lifelong, how to say it, look at me, who I am. I'm all powerful. Not really. And that's when true humbleness comes in. That you know that nothing that you think you have is yours. Sometimes life is so loving that everything you think it was yours is taken away. And then it's like, whoa, probably wasn't mine completely. Something else is in charge. And then when you're humble enough and open enough, something different unfolds. Beautiful, sacred, divine. The only thing was required for you to don't take ownership about anything. That when creativity in its purest form, wherever it wants to express itself, is creativity itself, is not my creativity, or I'm gonna create. Then life, all of life, the fullness of life will express itself through your individual expression, let's say. Because when you're empty, when you don't exist, when you play of being the watcher, of the witness, you'll notice that everything happens by itself. It's just love trying to express itself in different ways. And you don't take ownership. You don't want it to control it your way. You don't want it to aim it towards self-satisfaction, personal desires. Because that will end in disillusion, of course, at some point. Attachment, control, anxiety. So if you explore to be in the witness, because you have always been the witness, you'll see miracles. Miracles that only require your full attention into this present experience without involvement. In the most magical ways. Your true self, which is what we're exploring here. Like I said yesterday, there are many places where you can get a diploma on how to, I don't know, increase your abundance in your business. You can find things like that everywhere. But where have you found a place that pushes you so deep that you become that divine being which you are meant to be? Infinite, radiant, all powerful. No fears, no lack, nowhere at all. Divine. It's not about making the dream better. Like I said, at the same time, I'm willing and I do everything I can to improve the dream for people's simplicity and love. But the important is to break out from the dream, wake up from the dream, and remember your true divinity. That's all this is all about. There's nothing more important than that, nothing at all. The rest, child's games. Now we're playing with a cosmic child, which is infinite innocence and beauty. There's nothing more important than that. The mind has a lot of desires, cravings, needs. Your true self has no needs, no desires, doesn't need anything because it's everything. Why? And that's it. This is the way, the best I can describe it. Imagine, just for the sake of the conversation, right now, just right now, you rule a kingdom. You actually own a kingdom. Everything, as the Lion King says, everything that touches the light is yours. Is yours. Everything that touches the light is yours. For the sake of this conversation, if you are the ruler of that kingdom, there's no desire to own the land. Why would you desire to own the land where you already own it? So desire will never rise because you own the land. If a king or a queen has a desire to own the land that he already owns, is a crazy king. He's not a king. It might be a beggar pretending to be a king, but not a king. So your true self is like that. That's why it is desireless, because everything is that. It owns, let's say, everything. So I say this because then you start to see the little subtleties where the ego mind kicks in and has made all its tricks upon you to confuse you. Now your job is not to get confused and embrace your royalty. I gave an example of this one time with my students in some of the satsangs or meetings that we have. But this is almost, it is funny, but it's almost like it is true. It is true. Coming back to the example of the king or queen, it doesn't really matter. At the same time, it's royalty, divinity, divine beings, gods and goddesses. Imagine that you have this kingdom and you decide, I'm gonna go to travel to discover the world and its experiences. I wanna just see what it's like to travel, to have family, to, I don't know, whatever desires. So you grab the keys of your kingdom and you give them to the ego. And you say, take care of this. Ciao, ciao, I'm gone. And you leave and you go. But you gave your keys to your kingdom to the ego mind, individual, fantasy, phantom. And you go and you go. Suddenly, in your travels, now you know everything. You got to experience everything that the outside world can offer. And then suddenly something inside of you says, it's been a long, long time. I think I had a home. I don't know anymore. It's been so long that I'm confused. So now I'm confused. But I had a home. Did I dream it? Is it true? Is it real? But there's a feeling inside of me that I have to return home. But where is home? There's no GPS, there's no internet, so I don't really know. I'm lost. How can I find my way back? Suddenly, the lucky ones starts the search, looking for answers, asking the travelers, hey, I know there's something I need to find, but I don't know what it is. There's something inside of me that tells me I belong to that place that I don't know anything about. I don't know anything. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know what it is, but I know it had green parcels, beautiful mountains, and a big lake or something. And some traveler says, yeah, just keep walking that way. Probably is that village. I don't know. Just keep walking. And they just follow, you follow, you follow. Just make the story short, after a long, long, long time of searching, you're close home. There's a feeling that you're close. There's something familiar of what's happening. Either, for example, you travel so long that you forgot your language. Now you have landed on your land where they speak your own language. So it's familiar. They're speaking English instead of Chinese. Now it's like, whoa, I can understand more than before. Something inside of me is shining bright, like palpitating. And then you just keep on walking. And then suddenly you start to remember. It's like, whoa, so this is where I came from, really. This is my land, the land of love or opportunity, of connections, whatever. Everything is familiar now. You start to walk a little bit more, and then you start to remember. And then you see a castle, but you're not allowed to enter. And it's your castle, but you're not allowed to enter. And it's like, whoa, what happened? What happened here? There's something, I'm confused. For some reason, I think I have to enter. Why belong to that place? I have to get inside, but I can't get inside. It's been so long that everyone doesn't know who you are. No one can recognize you. You're out of shape, you're skinny, or you're fat, whatever. You have long beard, you have really bad robes, because you used to have royal robes. You don't have them anymore. You travel for so long that you had to sell everything that you have with you so you can actually have something to buy, food. So nobody recognizes you. And then after all of this, you are near your castle, but you are full of doubts. You don't know anything. You don't remember. There's fear. Your strength probably is hanging by the thread. Your royal presence has diminished after all the troublesomes of life, but there's something inside of you that is pushing you forward. So the ego is inside your realm, your castle, your home, your true home, and he's the ruler. He won't let you in. So the question would be, because it won't, is ruling, is eating the best food, is wearing your clothes, is pretending to be you as you in front of everyone. And everyone, the rest in the castle, or the bodyguards and everything, they don't have discernment, so they don't know that the impostor is sitting in a throne pretending to be you, but the real you is outside the castle, just there with fear and doubts. How, tell me, how can you enter something, break free, and assume your royal position? How do you do that? The moment you know who you are, You walk into the gate and you tell the guard, move away. I am who I am. Let me enter. This is mine. Believe me, the moment you become the king or the queen and you stop doubting, believing, and embrace your divinity, believe me, the gates will open by themselves. And guess the second thing, what do you think is going to happen second to this? The ego will fly away from the back door because it knows that you're here finally. And he has created a mess of your kingdom. You are not happy. He will flee because it knows the presence of a king has entered. The presence of a queen has entered. That's how you remove duality and confusion. By being who you're meant to be. And stop this imagination of pretending and something else taking care of your kingdom, which has made a mess. You just notice everything is a mess. Fear, anxiety, loneliness, suffering, that's just the mind confusing your royalness. That's how you break from the chains. Step into who you really are and stop believing this little voice that's telling you who you are supposed to be in order for the little voice to keep on ruling. It's that easy. You just be, and the ego flies away. It can't stand your light. It can't. It will flee. It will run away. Another way to do it is so easy. You yourself question your I-ness, your I. Find it. Look for it. The moment you have that intention, or even when you're free of that intention, it disappears completely. You can't find the ego mind. It cannot be found. It cannot be found because it doesn't exist. As an example that I just gave, the moment that you are present, your presence, you're playing with your own self as being the self, as grounded, fearless, loving, kind, but present and grounded, full of love, of patience and kindness and everything, but at the same time as a ruler. Your own self is all powerful. Believe me, all limitations will flee. They can't stand the beauty and the love of the self. What is not pure will fly away. That's how easy it is. You just have to explore pretending who you're not to be, who you're not. Just stop it for a moment. If you stop it for a moment, everything becomes quiet. The senses, the mind, the intellect, everything goes away, disappears. The moment you stay here, quiet, present, witnessing. If you notice that you are the witness, let's say you're feeling that you are that which is aware of everything, suddenly everything goes away. The illusion of the mirage in the desert, the right understanding, the right approach, cleanses the view, and everything that you are not vanishes, and what remains is empty, quiet, peaceful. And from there, everything gets clear. Then from there, creativity is gonna do what it's meant to do. Create a beautiful dance in front of you for you to enjoy. True creativity, the purest part of the creativity experience phenomena, is only there to make a good show for you. It's not yours for you to control, to direct, to make it about something that the mind needs. That will lead to suffering. And they're gonna that's gonna continue the confusion of the individuality. All desire or intention or passion, everything has to be directed towards self-discovery. That will clear everything out. The rest is gonna keep on the confusion game longer, and is not needed, it's not required. So the best way, let's say, to create a beautiful life is just let life create whatever it wants to create. Don't get involved. Just watch, just watch. Believe me. And there's another thing that happens. Let's say, for example, that you are a painter. That requires a creative process that you need to grab the brush, let's say. If you are the watcher, if you identify with the witness, with the absolute, the body is gonna be forced to create. You don't have a choice. But the body expression, individuality will express itself because it has to. It's mandatory. You have no choice. But you are not the painter. You're just the witness of the painter. And the other way around, if the painter, for some reason, is not meant to paint, it won't, even if he wants to. He cannot do anything about it. Because it has always been the self playing with itself. That's why there's so many blockages. There's why so many people get frustrated, because their needs, their desires are not met according to their list of things of how it should be in order for them to feel the way they think they should feel. And it's all from the individual perspective, me perspective, limitation perspective. It's so beautiful when you are outside of the equation. It's amazing. When you allow yourself to be the witness in every area of your life, from a different perspective, deeper perspective, higher perspective, suddenly it's like miracles. It's like, holy smokes. You just let everything be as it should be, and you just don't get involved. Because if you pay attention, everything that happens is pushing you inward. If you're honest enough, there's a moment that you don't know anything, you don't know how to handle anything. You might want to direct everything towards the left. Life says to the right. Sometimes it goes to the right and then slowly changes to the left. So it's like, how can I surf the wave, and come into senses with everything that is happening. And everything is just a gift for you to remember who you truly are. And from there, everything becomes so simple. You don't have to do anything about anything. What you're meant to do, you will be doing, even that you don't want to. Let's say painting, working. If you're not meant to find work, you won't find it. Believe me, I had that experience and it was intense. I had a experience where I needed, let's say, I didn't have a place to sleep. I didn't have food. That was an intense experience. And I tried to find work everywhere. All the doors were no, 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 no. And it was intense because I was giving my all. My hopes were hanging there by the thread, And I said, well, apparently I'm not, how to say it? I'm not meant to find a job. And that was hard to swallow because I didn't have food to eat. And in this game, you need to work or manifest money to eat in a way, in a way. And in that moment, everything collapsed. And of course, there were doubts. There were a lot of things going on. But I said, okay, I want to wake up. I don't care if I die trying. That's my goal. I want to wake up. Because it seems that right now I'm meant to go through this experience because no matter what I do, it's like a no, 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 no. So by magic, I was walking in this village and I saw a person walking from long distance. The closer we get, its shape was familiar until I saw him. And it was a friend of mine that I haven't seen like for 10 years. That was a miracle. And we said hello. We exchanged a few words. And he said, well, come to this hotel. My cousin, which it was another friend of mine back then, were there working. Come and talk to us. So I went there that same day. And he had a place that he has his workshop long, far inside the forest in a jungle. So miracles started to happen for me to suddenly have a place to sleep. One day I was walking on the streets and I found food untouched, clean. So I ate it. And suddenly, because it was so contrasting the game, and my only desire was to wake up, I spent most of the day closing my eyes and reading really beautiful sacred texts of spirituality. That was my only aim. And suddenly everything started to unfold magically. From having nothing in its own accord, then suddenly a different kind of creativity started to emerge from within. Suddenly I wrote some books on a cell phone that it was really old with fingers because I didn't have another way to do it, step by step. And suddenly more and more and more, but it wasn't about me doing it, because something else was directing the game. And I became aware of it and the beauty of it. And the experiences and the growth and the discoveries around it were amazing. The strength, the decision of the intuition that for me, the most important thing is to wake up, and not, for me, it was like that. I wasn't there to manifest my needs. But I did it because the body wanted to. I had no choice. But it happened in a beautiful way. So I was always being taken care of. Everyone is always taken care of. You just have to allow life to live life by itself, and then you'll see miracles everywhere. But then you don't take ownership about them. You don't own them, and you don't try to apply your understanding to improve the ego reality. Let's say that everything that comes to you in all ways, in all angles, is for you to remember your divinity. Not for you to get imprisoned or attached or chained by the experiences and everything that is given. Because suffering is right on the corner. So the invitation is to be super free. And then, like I said, in all areas, the body area, the relationships area, the job area, everything will have a different sense. You'll connect to something bigger that knows how to take care of you, that knows the proper answers in the right time. It will give you the solutions when it's needed, when it's required, when it's meant to happen. And then you are in this mysterious game of flowing, just surfing a bigger wave. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's a different way of exploring, let's say, creation and reality in the creation world. Yeah, that's all I can say about that.
Well, I have a question, if nobody else. So yesterday you were talking about how when you wake up, everything.
What?
When you wake up, everything disappears, and there is no. It's very clear. There is no return. It's a very clear shift. But I've read as well in other teachings that it can be a very one event very clear during the timeline, or sometimes it can be a kind of a progressive thing. What is your point of view about that?
Well, the progressive thing is until the main event happens. When the main event happens, let's say it's no return. It is what it is definite. Limitations, all limitations are destroyed. That doesn't mean the game doesn't continue. But who's exploring the game, who's walking the game, who's actually finally walking on Earth? That's the main difference. From the inner perspective of the person, there's no limitations whatsoever, nowhere, at all. Everything is, and it's true, everything is incinerated to the ashes. All limitations are complete, incinerated by the ashes. And it's tricky, like I said, there's so many things that you can find out there. You know, there's so many things, there's so many perspectives. There's people that say that after awakening, there's so many things that happen and that they're not true. For those, I say, well, okay, there's levels of awakening within the dream, which is fascinating, which is true, is beautiful. There's high levels of consciousness and understanding in the dream, which is true. But to break from the dream, there's only one thing that happens. And is that you break from the dream completely. There's no process, no ideas, no qualities, no levels, no roads, no paths, no walking or coming or going. And if everything was just imagination from the cosmic being. But we're here to explore the reality of the cosmic being, not its imagination and field of potentiality. So like I said, so many things might be true in some sense, in some places, but sometimes those are not the highest truth. And like I said, sometimes those things are real because it's a point of view in the infinite potentiality of experiences. Some would say, yeah, this happens. Yeah, it's true. The mirage is true from the place that you're looking from. It's true. This happens. Yeah, it's true. It happens from the point of view that you're referring to. It is true. But lucky are the ones that are not, how to say it? Don't get lost in the interpretation of the experiences about what happens. Lucky is the one that takes the discernment and doesn't make anything absolute at all. And recognize that you don't get lost by what happens in front of you. The reality of the witness is totally different of what is witnessed. Like I said, when you dissect, analyze what is being witnessed, it has some degree of reality. So let's say that some people say, this is what happens. That's an object of perception. That's an experience that happens in front of you. This happens, this happens, it happens. They are still talking about the outside. They're still talking about what's happening in front of you. We're not here to explore completely. Of course, we do it too. But my aim is not to explore what happens in front of people. The experiences that happens in front of people. My only aim is to discover that which everything happens in front of, and its reality, its nature, its quality of being, not what is being witnessed. Like I said, everything that is witnessed can have some truth, but we're not concerned about what happens in front of people or in their minds or in their consciousness. The aim is to go so deep that you explore the basis of everything. That which always is and always will be. And what is there? What is inside of that? How does it feel to be that? That's more important. Then nothing will confuse you. Because confusion or even clarity happens in front of you. You are beyond all those qualities and doesn't define you. That's how infinite the power of the infinite is. It's just expressing itself in all areas and all possibilities. But we're not exploring the manifestation of the expression of the infinite. We're going to the fountain of everything. I came across to this concept that can actually relate to this experience. And I was fascinated by it. The self, the true source, the source of everything, is the infinite that manifests infinites. I don't know if that's the proper word in English. Hopefully I made it right. Hopefully you understand. The source of everything, that's the true infinite, manifesting infinite, infinity to infinity to infinity to infinity, because that's its true expression. Everything that you see has infinity component. It's a never-ending game of expression of beautiful potentiality, but it's just its expression. I'm more concerned about the one behind the expression. Not what is being expressed, but the one that is, everything is expressed from. And that's where true remembering lies, in recognizing that you are that. You have always been that fountain of love. You are the infinite of infinities. Fascinating. But the moment you justify, you pay attention, you put your gaze into your expression, let's say, you get confused and lost in the game of illusion. That's why I don't give room. I try not to give so much room into justifying what is in front of you. I give a little room because I understand. Well, my aim is to keep pushing you inward so you stop justifying everything that is in front of you as something real, because of you, everything becomes real. So let's explore you, who you are, really. I'm only interested in you, not what is the expression of you, not the talents that are given in your body, mind, persona. That's fine, enjoy them, don't own them, that's all. There are challenges in life, yeah, great, face them. But if you face them from who you are, you'll be fearless. Fearless. If you face them from individuality, confusion, fear, sickness, let the body experience what is meant to experience. You are not the body, you are something beyond the body. You are supreme awareness. You have always been that. No matter what you do, that won't change. That's real remembering. This is true awakening. Going beyond awakening, going beyond remembering. That's your true nature. That's who you are, a divine being. Royalty incarnated. Manifesting universes, events. For the fun of remembering your true nature. You're coming back home. You are home. You have always been home. You just gotta step into your nature and the doors will open by themselves, because the guards knows their king, their queen. Like I said, my only aim is to have a conversation with your real you. The rest is of little importance. The mind might not like it. Like I said, you are taking away the keys of your kingdom. It might not like it because it's been ruling for a while. You know, it's been ruling for a while. But if you're honest, what do you want? Really, what do you want? Do you want to keep on going in this adventure with its challenges and troubles and fears and everything like that? Or you want to finally put a stop into this and enjoy your kingdom from the perspective of royalhood? One is begging, beggar on the street, begging, please, ego, leave my kingdom, please. I want to be at peace. You know, it's like that. It's like trying to beg for something that is up to you. It's up to you. What do you want?
Sandra has a question.
Yep.
Hello again.
Hello again.
My question is about now I'm still confused, but trying to get everything there. What about the angels and the high spiritual masters? You know, the maestros ascendidos. I don't know how to say it in English, but do they exist or? Yes, that's the question. What is
my question is, the mirage exist?
I don't know.
If you are in the desert and you see a mirage, it exists?
For me.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not. Yes, but maybe it's not the real truth.
Yeah, that's right? The real truth. The real truth that nothing exists, only the self exists.
Oh, okay. So if I believe that the angels exist or the high masters exist, it's because they are created maybe in my mind, but it doesn't mean that they are the true.
The highest truth. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, we're here to explore the highest truth, no relative truth. Because if it's true, let's say, just for the sake of this, let's say that an angel exists, a being of light. If it's gonna do its job, really, let's say, if it's gonna do its job, or a proper master, the self doesn't need middlemen. They will remove themselves from the equation for you to have direct contact to source. If they are still in the equation, they're not doing their job, and they will be removed because they're in the way of something pure and greater. So everything that people imagine that is pure, if they are really pure, they'll walk away and there won't be a middleman. The self doesn't need middlemen. It's so powerful. It doesn't need help from no one. Doesn't need angels, doesn't need nothing. It is everything. So if they are really doing their job, they're going to disappear and say, hey, just go. For example, let's say that you want an appointment. Let's say from another point of view. Let's say that you want to have an appointment with the king of the land. And you have to make, let's say, an appointment. You go to the secretary, let's say. The secretary in the highest, you are the son of the king. You don't need an appointment. You have direct contact with your father or your mother, or however you want to say it. So the middleman has no purpose in your relationship to your father, mother. You don't need to make an appointment. You have direct line towards communication. So all these spiritual beings, really, if they're really going to do their job, they remove themselves from the equation because you don't need the help to contact directly from your father, mother. You don't need help, really. But that's how strong the confusion is in the spiritual, sensorial, individual world. It's amazing how powerful it is, and people believe that. You already have direct line to source. You have it already. You don't need anything about it. You don't even need a phone or an internet or a computer. It's so direct in your own self. Your own self is a direct link conversation with the self. Your own sense of presence is the self itself. What do you need anything about to reach, to connect? That's still mind, that's still confusion, that's still misunderstanding. But people like it. The sensorial feelings, imagination are pleasing, and that's a different kind of hook. Fascinating. And of course, if you pay attention, there's a lot of suffering there because you never get there. You still more. It's like, okay, let's say that I have 5 angels. You are not doing your job properly because I still live in separation. Either call for some help, call for more angels. And then you have an army of angels and you still feel separated. It's like, Jesus, I need to change my army or my angels, or I have to see the little words in the contract, the spiritual contract. I didn't see the small words. So it's a never-ending story because separation doesn't end. Let's say that you have a cosmic lawyer. He's doing a bad job. If they really are doing their job, they will disappear in front of you. So you are left alone with the self. When I say everything disappears, it's true. Then you are left alone with your own self, finally free in communion. Before that, there's still something that is in the way. It's in the middle, blocking something that is pure, that is already real. You can call it however. It's all imagination. Fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
That's the best way I can describe it. Like I said, the imagination of the cosmic game is amazing. It's fascinating. I'm not denying the cosmic game. In its full potentiality, everything exists. You know, everything exists. But I'm not concerned of whatever is manifested. I'm concerned by the one that is the witness of it all. In the dream, everything exists. But who's the witness of the dream? That's the game. The dream is a cosmic game. Why is cosmic with a lot of power? Because it's the infinite expressing itself. So everything has the infinite power potentiality qualities. But I'm not concerned about the manifested world. I'm more concerned in the unmanifested, in the unknown, the unseen. There are higher truths there. Like I said, even in the whatever is perceived, there's a moment that is not the highest truth. So simple. So simple. You go to bed, you go to sleep, and then you fall completely asleep. You are asleep. You're not dreaming. You're sleeping. In that moment, everything disappears. Everything. Gone. Levels, realities, high masters, lower masters, demons, angels, time, space, your partner, your children, stress, everything disappears. There's no colors, there's no light, there's no the moon, there's the sun, nothing. Everything disappears. So then you wonder, if it's all powerful, all of that, how come disappears in a microsecond in my experience? Because there's still something experiencing the void. When everything disappears, let's say nothingness, it still is being experienced and witnessed by someone. Otherwise, how can you say that the blackness came into existence when you fall asleep? There's still someone witnessing void. Who's that one? Who's that one? See, like I said, the manifestation game is not as powerful as the witness of the manifestation. Because by the power of the witness, everything disappears in a microsecond. Just close your eyes for a moment, gone. That's how powerful consciousness is. All the elements, by a blink of an eye, disappear. But not many people have curiosity of this phenomena and simplicity way of experiencing life. How come there's so much rest in deep sleep, and I enjoying that freedom of not experiencing the world? Because there's a sense of deep relaxation and freedom in all sense of the matter. You are free, joyful, peaceful, relaxing. That's why it's so beautiful to experience when you go to sleep. Not because of the sleep, because of the freedom that comes with it. Because everything is gone. Everything is gone. Like I said, why everything is gone? Because there's no one there to witness it anymore. And then the pure essence of who you are reveals itself in the void. Now the tricky game is how to bring that experience in the deep sleep into the manifestation game. That same experience of nothing exists in every daily life, because there's something that will still exist, but it's pure, perfect, divine, miraculous, and it has nothing to do with the game of the mind, which is just pure desire, restlessness, fear, doubt, confusion, identification. Like I said yesterday, the same experience, but from a different point of view. But that different point of view makes all the difference. Makes all the difference. One is you witness everything happening, but you're not in it. Everything is in you. It's that simple, but we have misunderstood, and we believe we are so limited, small beings. What is the opposite? Your bigness is beyond comprehension. You are so big. You are so big. Hmm.
You can do. Okay, hi. I'm not sure if I have a question.
Can you speak a little bit louder, just so I can hear clearer, please?
Hi. I'm not sure if I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious. And you talked about our true self and the unmanifested. And I'm interested in why, or what is it about the unmanifested being manifested? So, okay, maybe with the source, like why is the source in a manifested form? Am I the I to remember? Is that the game? Like, is that? I'm not even sure about my question.
Okay, you're asking, just to get clarity on the question, that why is the manifestation happening and the I manifesting, and what is the game about?
I understand that I can only use my mind to try to think about it. So I get it, the game, that I'm in the game.
You're not in the game. You're witnessing the game.
I think what I try to understand what she says, like,
I don't think we can hear you.
come closer.
Yeah, please, closer.
Yeah, I think what I understand what Lisa says about why source put everything in the I to understand who you are. This, this is what you said.
Yeah, maybe. Like,
So why the source is so infinite and she put everything in this container I to understand what is this source is?
Well, actually, Source has put itself fully in everything that you see. Everything that you see, the Source has put itself fully in everything. Not only in yourself. The full power, the totality of the Source is in everything that you see. Not in you. You're not that special. Everything is Source, the fullness of Source. The I perception that I exist, it has the full power of Source. Your hair has the full power of Source. Everything has a recognition of I-ness. Everything is the Source. There's no individual gift. Source is not like, okay, I'll give you 90% of myself to you, 10% to the rock. That is not the true self. So that's why the game is so powerful, because even the appearance of the illusion has the full power of the Source. The illusion is the Source too. It's not the totality of the Source, let's say. It's just the expression of the Source, but still is the fullness of the Source. That's why the game is so powerful, because everything is the self. There's nothing that is not the totality or the completeness or the fullness of the self. Yeah, really, believe me, there's nowhere that the fullness of the Source is not present.
so
That's why even the I-ness, that's why even the I-ness has so much appearance of reality, because it's the self itself too, the appearance. Everything is the self, every single little thing manifested, even the unmanifested too. That's why it's so powerful. Now, why in the highest truth, nothing is manifested? Really, nothing is manifested. I'll give you an example so you understand what I'm saying. I'm gonna grab one concept which is famous, which is everything is one, which in the highest stage, that is not true. That is not true. But for the sake of the conversation, everything is one. If everything is one, it means that everything is the same thing. Nothing can be apart from it. Or do you exclude yourself from that equation thing? Everything is one, but no, not me. Everything is the self, everything is infinite, but no, not me. Probably I'm different. Yeah. Do you exclude yourself from that even proposal? People do it, which is not true. You are part of the game. You're part of everything, that supreme oneness. Now, the next concept, if it's true that there's only one thing, oneness and everything, how come my experience is split into the manifest, unmanifest, creation created by someone, by something? Because that's not supreme oneness anymore. There's one thing, created something, then it's two things. Let's say the observer watching something. Okay, there's a watcher and they watched. There's two things. So there's no oneness anymore. You know? When I said everything is the self, that is true. And nothing else exists other than the self, which means there's nothing that is manifested. No one creating, no one desiring, nothing. Because you are implying there's something else. You are implying, you are saying that there's more than one now. And like I said, the game is so powerful because then you have an experience that this is not true. You get to experience yourself, body sensations, and things like that, let's say. So it's tricky to come into terms and understand the highest possible truth, which is nothing exists other than the self. How do you explain this? We're entering into the realm of the mind collapsing, disappearing, individuality. It cannot grasp this reality. The only way is waking up. There's no other way. That is the only way. When you wake up, you know. Before, it's confusing. But to give you an example, to start to see clearly something that you already know, but you cannot really put words into it. I always give these two examples because it's the best way I can describe something that it cannot be described. It's impossible. It's impossible to express or explain the infinite. It's impossible. Two examples that gave me clarity, and it'll give you clarity. Because the moment you say that creation is real, immediately there has to be someone that created it. And when you bring that subject to the manner, it's a creator creating something apart from it. There's two things now: a creator that created something. I'm saying that is not real. That's duality, of course. Two things. True, if there's no two things, there's only one thing. The best way I can describe it is with two examples. One is, let's say that you have a block of wood. For the sake of the conversation, like I said before, everything that someone talks about the truth, we're not really saying anything about the truth. It's impossible to talk about the truth. We're just pinpointing towards where you have to explore to find the highest truth. And then there's nothing that you can say about. So there's always pinpointers. There's never a moment that everyone would say it is what it is, because the language, the mind cannot express what really the game is. So what I'm saying with that is that you never get married with the words or the examples. They're just pointing out to something. One example to this is like, this is a famous example from Bruce Lee, is like, I'm pointing to the moon, but you are focusing on my finger. If you pay attention to everything that we have been exploring these days, don't focus on my finger. I'm pointing to something. I want you to explore that something, not my finger. My finger is not that beautiful. Okay? They're just pointers. So the mind will not comprehend it. Just follow the pointers, follow the signs, follow the arrows. So the two examples are this. Imagine that you have a block of wood. For the sake of the conversation, you are a carpenter. Or you work with stones, marble, and things like that. The carpenter or the goldsmith that works with gold, let's say that you have a block of gold too. You have a block of gold. Or you're a carpenter, you have a block of wood. The moment you see the block of wood, in that moment, that piece of wood can become everything. It could be a door. It could be a chair. It could be bowling little thingies to play balls. That piece of wood can become a lot of things. It has potentiality infused in it. But if you look closely, nothing has happened yet. Everything is happening within the imagination and the potentiality of the creative process of the mind of the carpenter, but it's not manifested at all. You are just seeing the potentiality, what could be, but will never be. It just could be. The same thing with gold. The goldsmith looks at a piece of gold, let's say, and it could be earrings, rings, jewelry. It could be. You are witnessing the potentiality of what it could be. Then the potentiality of what it could be never leaves the mind of the goldsmith. That's what I'm saying. Everything that you have experienced, witness of everything, is just the potentiality of what could be. Nothing is manifested, truly. So everything is within you. You are the cosmic being dreaming the potentiality of what could be. Because if I say you create, oh, Jesus, I'm the creator and I'm watching my creation. Two things. No, that is not the highest truth. The highest truth is there's only really one, and there's not two, neither three, ni nothing else. Nothing is created, nothing is destroyed, nothing is happening. Really, nothing is happening. It's just everything is in the realm of the potentiality. Like I said in the example of the carpenter, it really is not happening. It just could happen. You know, that is a moment. If you have a creative experience, let's say that you want to write a poem or whatever, it starts within you first, then it becomes manifested in action. Everything that happens is not manifested at all. Really, has never happened. Why? It's so easy. To whom? And that's where the illusion breaks. Because the mind would say, well, no, I manifest, I take decisions, this happens. Yeah, but you're exploring the game from the point of view inside the game. You still think that you are a wave in the ocean. You still think you are in this personhood inside the manifestation. But if you become the witness, suddenly you'll see, you recognize that really everything that's happening is just within yourself and nothing is outside of yourself. That's the best way I can describe it. Another example, which is a beautiful example. Imagine, I don't know who of you have kids or have seen kids, it's the same. Imagine a beautiful kid, baby, that is playing by himself. And then he grabs, let's say, this, and it imagines that it's a pirate playing with hunting of the treasure, traveling to far distant lands. But that's not really happening. It's not really happening. It's just happening inside itself because of the imagination, infinite imagination, and the power of it. But we're talking on another level now. The same two examples. When you see a baby, really, they're not playing with pirates. It's all within the realm of playing. But you say, yeah, like I said in the Mirage, from the Mirage point of view, the pirates are real, but that doesn't mean they are the highest truth of the realness. That's how you explain your infinite and everything that you're manifesting. At the end of the day, you are the witness of everything and everything is inside of you. And nothing has been outside of you. It's not in front of you, really. That's how powerful you are. A little thing called dream manifestation, it can seem so real, but it's not real. But it feels real. But it's not outside of you. It has no purpose. It has nothing other than your desires that need to be fulfilled in order to remember the desirelessness of your nature. But you are just designed to explore this game. You wanted to explore this game. So I take my hat off you. What a game. There's only the self. And the self doesn't have any parts. It's not divided. Everything is. And you are in that equation, like I said before, you are in that equation. You're not outside of it. You're not excluded. That's the best way I can describe it. That's the best way I can explain it. That's the best way. The tricky part is, for example, that the self knows itself to be the self. So it's fearless, it's desireless, it's peaceful, it's joyful, because it knows. He's just a cosmic little baby imagining universes, galaxies, pirates, cops, bad guys, good guys, but everything is happening in his cosmic mind. That's how powerful you are. You are dreaming your dream. Just recognize that you are not inside the dream. Imagine that you are in your home, sleeping in your bed, and in that moment you dream everything. Computers, TVs, cars, everything. Tsunamis, earthquakes, everything is in your cosmic imagination potentiality. And you're experiencing it, of course. And suddenly, oh, it was just a dream. But it was within my dream, within my own conscious awareness of it. That's what it's like. And you just laugh because you thought that the dream was so real. I always tell this story when I remember, but it's almost like the same. So there's this king or queen, doesn't matter. There's this king. And this king in its bed goes to sleep and starts dreaming. And then inside the dream, he has become a beggar. He's living in the streets. He doesn't have any food. Then in that dream, this beggar starts walking on the streets. And then there's a king inside the dream that is inviting everyone to eat for free. And then the beggar takes the invitation, walks into the palace and starts eating. Suddenly, the beggar falls asleep inside the palace. And then suddenly the beggar starts dreaming that he's a king. And in that dream that he's a king, he's walking down the palace, and he goes to find his teacher and a sage. And he's like, teacher, tell me, I'm a king right now, or I'm a beggar? Am I a beggar dreaming that I'm a king, or I'm the king dreaming that I'm a beggar that I'm a king? Tell me, because I'm confused. I'm confused now. I don't really know. I cannot really have the discernment to split or separate from dream from reality. I'm confused. The teacher, the sage says, you're none. You're none of those people. You are nothing that is happening inside your imagination dreaming. You're none of those. You are something else. But it's more like that. You can be dreaming of being this, being that, having these experiences, having that experiences. But in the truth, you are something that cannot be defined or explained. That's who you really are. The rest is just imagination, mind. That's how simple it is. It has always been this simple. You got to stop believing what is in front of you. And like I said, the fastest way is to be empty. Because we have read so many things, we have heard so many things. It's unbelievable how many things we have accumulated just to make sense to everything that is happening inside of us, that we don't have words to express fully, really, the deepest part of ourselves. And of course, we try to find ourselves, try to create some stability emotionally, psychologically, and everything, so we don't feel if we lose control and everything collapses. It's like, whoa, what if my inner reality, the how to say the sand castles. I don't remember how to say that in English, that I've created where I live, what I'm experiencing, my dormitory here in my mind, my psychological fantasy. What if you remove it? I don't know what am I gonna do. You'll be free. You'll be free and happy, in free fall, flying. Some people wanna keep on begging for food in their dreams. Some people want to be their king, ruling, controlling others. Wake up. You are none of those. There's something beyond. So simple. Don't be this or be that. Just be. Just be. That's it. Stop defining yourself, your understanding of creation, reality. Just stop it. Stop it for a moment. Just stop it. Do nothing. Be quiet. Stay here, still, present, attentive, quiet, empty. Full stop. Not coming and going, not doing anything. Not here and there, not trying anything, not desiring anything. Just here, attentive. And your nature, your infinite nature reveals itself to you. Unbounded awareness. Just witnessing everything. And then the spell breaks. Then you can say, well, you probably don't say anything, but only then you can see everything is the self. Everything is that, everything. And nothing is separated from that, because everything is that. I'm still laughing by the immensity and beauty of this game. I'm just in awe of it. The mysterious of it, the drama, the hopes, the dreams, the challenges. It's just, it's so easy. You just gotta, the right perspective is who's living? Who's that one which is hearing me? Who's that one? Who's that one? This is a unique opportunity to discover the real one, not the fantasy one that is still blocking the view. Like I said yesterday, the self is playing the game as you. You are the self witnessing the you, the I experience. But you're not that experience, I-ness. You are behind it. Fascinating game. Beautiful and perfectly designed. It's amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And then we end up all this trouble, trying. Like say, for example, you are dreaming in your bed and you're trying to get home. You're trying to get home. You are doing exercise to be fit for the long walk, for the long run. You're preparing yourself. You're getting strained. You're feeding yourself fully. You're practicing. Just for the moment to wake up, it's like, whoa, I never left. What happened to this all nonsense that I have to do this, do that, practice this, practice that I left and I have to come back to what if I always been here? I was just having a nap, a beautiful nap, but I fell asleep and I just started dreaming and I believed the dream to be real. That's whatever you do in the dream from the perspective of the dream has no value. It might improve the dream, but we're not here to improve the dream completely. We're here to recognize that you have always been in your bed, peacefully resting, home. And it was just a cosmic moment of illusion of a dream. And then funny enough, the whole dream becomes quiet. And the qualities of peace and love and understanding suddenly are just right there in front of you, that it's always been like that. And you're just the witness of everything. You finally let life be what is its role to be. And that includes your body, the individual expression of a part of you. Because the body expression is a really tiny, little, tiny part of you. It's not the whole you. We're here to explore the whole you, witnessing this little tiny part called me persona name. I'm not saying that you are not what you think you are. You are more than what you think you are. And what you think you are is nothing compared to what you really are. Because like I said, everything is a part of you, but it's not the totality of you. The body is not the totality of you. It's just a little tiny thing about you, but it's not you or true you. Then everything becomes simple, easy. From that perspective, everything is fascinating, mysterious, free-falling, freeing, finally home-like feeling within yourself. Stop this nonsense of searching, becoming, perpetuating, healing. That is for the mind, ego, dream. Leave it alone. Don't do anything about it. Just don't fall into the trap. You're already whole. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to try anything. You don't have to become anything. You don't have to master anything. That's just nonsense inside the dream. You're complete. That's it. That's how simple it is. Have fun. That's all what is left. Just have fun. Enjoy yourself.
Here they are saying, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Daniel had a question about healing, but I think you already answered the question without even her the need to ask about it.
Like I said, if you do some things to heal or take care of the body, that's fine. But don't make it about you. You are complete. You don't need to heal anything. You're not broken. There's nothing lack. There's nothing to be fixed. There's nothing to let go. There's no one there to let go anything. Really, you're complete, radiant. That's it. Then the discernment gets purified, and then everything you see what is real and what is not. What you really are, what you believe you were. Really. Like I still take care of my body. I eat sometimes good food, sometimes I eat crappy food. But that has nothing to do with me. With really the real you has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with the body experience. You're not the body. You're not the experiencer of the body either. You are the witness of the experiencer of the body, which is different. So don't do anything about you. Leave everything alone. Just be quiet. Stay empty. Watch. And suddenly your real nature is evident. You are beyond everything. Believe me, you are beyond everything. Nothing applies to you. Everything that happens in the game dream applies within the game dream. Within the game dream. Nothing has nothing to do with you. Nothing at all. Nothing can reach you. Nothing can touch you. Nothing at all. What happens in the game, leave it in the game. It's fine, beautiful. It's a beautiful game in front of you, but it has nothing to do with you. You're free, complete, infinite love. That easy. There's nothing to heal, nothing to fix, nothing to remove, nothing to see, nothing to understand, nothing to let go. That is only within the game of the dream. Don't listen, don't fall into those traps. You are the witness. The infinite witness of the game is a cosmic game, it's a cosmic movie in front of you. This is another example. I'll finish talking and then any question or anything you want to share, because we got to say goodbye. I'm happy to keep on going forever. I have no problem with that. But this is an example. We go to the movies and your nature, your true self is more related to the screen in the movie. You know, the movie that is projected on the screen has nothing to do with the screen. The screen doesn't get touched by what happens in the movie. In the movie, there might be a war. There might be, I don't know, a forest being burned. The screen, nothing happens to it. It doesn't get burned. It doesn't get wet. It's not touched by the personas inside of the reflection of the movie. It's just there, allowing everything to be projected on. But that itself is not touched ever. Ever. It can't be touched by anything that is projected onto it. That's what I'm saying. You are that complete radiance. You are that. By your cosmic power, everything, a cosmic movie is projected onto you, but it never touches you. That's why you are the witness of everything happening at the same time. Because the whole movie is projected on the screen at the same time. It's one event projected onto the screen. When you are inside of the movie, you want to analyze everything that is happening within the movie in that scene in particular. You say, okay, in this scene, there's a tree, there's a mountain, there's universes, blah, 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 from the perspective within the movie. But if you change your angle of understanding, suddenly everything is just happening at the same time at once. In you, but not to you. That's your nature. Sometimes the movie has 3D capacity and makes you feel that that is not true, but still that is a really powerful phenomena happening within the movie in front of you. Really, honestly, nothing has nothing to do with you. Nothing defines you. Nothing can touch you. Nothing applies to you. Nothing at all. You're free beyond everything. No matter how abstract the experience can be and subtle it can be, still, that is happening in front of you. Doesn't apply to you. You are still the witness of it all. Free. Easy. Don't justify what is in front of you and its justifications around it. That's it. Just be empty. Don't justify it. And you'll become empty. You'll become quiet. And then a different game starts. Something else shows up from within. More true. That's a beauty.
That everybody's complete here. I don't know if Kevin has any questions.
Everybody good then? It's okay to be confused. You'll see that things will become clearer finally. And that's what your heart wants. You know? All these little places where there was blind spots, confusion, doubts, finally they will be gone. And a different certainty and intuition will start to come forward. Just follow your heart. Trust yourself more, you know, your true self. Everything will start to become clearer and clearer, you'll see. And you're just gonna start laughing of everything you believe to be true. Which was part of the game. It's fine, it's fine. But now it's a different game. It's a different game. It's remembering who you really are. The best game of all.
Thank you very much, Sarkhan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Keep enjoying your retreat weekend. Sleep, I don't know what time is over there, but thank you again for this opportunity. Hopefully I get to see you soon, and I wish you all the best always. And I love you very much.
Thank you. I love you too.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you.